Welcome back, everyone. For this week's video, I'm going to share with you the most important thing that you can change to improve your life. The most beautiful thing about this is that you actually have a degree of control over being able to change this aspect of your life. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So first off, to start, as you can see from where I'm recording, I've successfully moved back into school. And so with this change in environment, I thought that today's video topic of the personal environment would be a fitting topic. And so just to start diving into it, the reason that our personal environment is the most important thing that we can change to improve our lives is because the environments that we choose to surround ourselves with have a major impact on our overall well-being. Personal environments can impact almost all aspects of our lives, including but not limited to having physical impacts, emotional impacts, social impacts, intellectual impacts, spiritual impacts, etc. And so, given this importance, it's crucial that we're able to create a personal environment that's tailored to meet our personal needs. And the beautiful part about this statement is specifically the word create. It's that we have a degree of control over the creation of our personal environment. And so this specific point also, again, helps to reinforce the overall importance of your personal environment, especially when viewing this topic through the lens of Stoicism, of which the underlying philosophy is to only worry about the things that you have control over, which these things would then be the most important things. And thus, since you have a degree of control over your personal environment, according to Stoicism, this would be one of the most important things in your life. So, okay, great. Our personal environments are extremely important. Wonderful. This then, of course, though, begs the question, how are we able to create and or change our personal environment? And so to do this, we actually need to look at our lives holistically. This includes things such as our day-to-day routine, our habits, the people we spend the most time around, all the ways that we decide to allocate our time. And the reason that we need this holistic view is because all the different aspects of our personal environment are actually interconnected with each other and can have an impact on one another. Take, for example, someone that may have a tense relationship going on, and thus this tense relationship would then be categorized as part of their personal environment. The stress from this social situation will not only negatively impact them on a social level, but can also leak over and negatively impact them emotionally, could be physically, even potentially spiritually, among other aspects within their personal environment and within their life. And so in order to change this and improve their life, this particular individual may need to address the tense situation and potentially even go as far as ending the relationship. The reason that I find this particular example to be extremely useful is because it helps to highlight how much more difficult it can be for someone to create change within their personal environment, especially when they've been within that same personal environment for an extended period of time. So in that previous example, I think we can all agree that it would be much more difficult for the individual to end the relationship if it had been going on for 5 years, as opposed to if that relationship had only been going on for 5 weeks. Now, would it be impossible? No, not at all. I mean, to some people, it would be really, really difficult and borderline impossible, but again, that would depend on many factors, such as how unhealthy and tense the relationship is, who the exact individual is, what other individuals may think of the relationship, etc. However, I think when just looking and isolating this aspect of time in terms of the length of the relationship, that again, it's going to be much more difficult to end the relationship and sort of accept this new reality when you're dealing with 5 years of memories, having basically invested 5 years of your life into someone versus just 5 weeks. And so the reason that I wanted to touch upon this point is because for me personally, I sort of fall into that camp where after being in the same personal environment for an extended period of time, it can be extremely, extremely difficult, if not borderline impossible, to create any change. And so basically what I've personally have found in this scenario, and so again, just to sort of help out anyone who's sort of in a similar boat to me, is that it's much easier to create change within your personal environment when you have external changes that are already impacting the environment around you and basically helping to sort of force change. And so with this last portion of the video, I just sort of want to explain how I've personally been able to capitalize on these moments of external change in order to improve my personal environment and keep myself moving forward. So my specific example of this is sort of around sort of this time of college and sort of jumping from semester to semester. And so college is sort of an interesting experience because your environment both stays the same and also changes, again, from semester to semester. So sure, for example, you may have the same roommates, similar people in classes, specifically, again, those with the same major who have to take the same classes. You could have similar friends, similar extracurriculars, and among other things. However, each semester, you also have a different schedule, different classes, potentially new professors, potentially even new friends, new extracurriculars. There's honestly, much easier able to create change on a semester to semester basis. And so basically what I found is that in the presence of these changes and sort of being able to make these changes is that your personal environment, and specifically early on in the semester, is much more fluid. And so with this fluidity, it's much easier to start building positive habits and creating positive change in your life. So for example, just to better explain this, you may have class one semester where it's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And so then you just have a bunch of free time from 1 p.m. on, and you might not know what to do early on. And so basically in this time, you can sort of view it like a vacuum. And so these moments are extremely crucial because you obviously have the power and autonomy to fill the vacuum with whatever you please. So this could be various habits such as going to the gym. You could go and cook for yourself. You could go and read a book. However, you could also spend your time doing something maybe potentially a little less productive, such as going and watching TV, playing video games, or even mindlessly just scrolling on social media. And so basically what I found is that by setting a good habit during these times and sort of during these vacuums early on, that it's much, much easier to maintain the good habit rather than to start out basically by filling this time with a bad habit and then later on trying to change this bad habit and basically replace it with a good habit. So once again, similar to that earlier example, it's not impossible and it's not hopeless, but for people such as myself, at least that I've found thus far in life, is that it's much more difficult to take this second path rather than just sort of starting out on the right foot. And so with this, basically my departing message would be to just try and capitalize on the change in your life and try to sort of use this fluidity of your personal environment in these sort of vacuum-esque moments to cultivate better habits, which ultimately are the building blocks to building a better life. And so by doing this repeatedly, you're then going to be able to sustain continuous growth and be able to keep moving forward in each sort of major phase of your life. And so that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.